My name's Adam Haley with the Haley Realty team, and today I'm going to talk about why right now in the housing market is totally different from the market crash of 2008. I get asked quite a bit if I think there's going to be a recession, if I think there's going to be a market crash, what's going on with interest rates, what's going on in the market. Houses are high right now. Does that mean that there's going to be a crash this year or next year and prices are going to come tumbling down? So I'm going to make this video about why right now is totally different than it was 12 or 13 years ago, why the market is different, and I'm taking my information from Keeping Current Matters. It's a website about real estate information, and I'm also going to interject some of the knowledge here with the local housing market. So these are 6 reasons why right now is different from 2008. Number 1 is mortgage standards are nothing like they were in the years leading up to the housing recession of 2008. It was, and I was not in real estate then, but just from doing research and watching movies and talking to my dad, talking to other agents locally that were in it then, it was really easy to get a mortgage in 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007. I think anybody could get a mortgage. I think the mortgages were set up differently too. There was different products, but people were giving out mortgages left and right. And of course, when you do that and you're not qualifying buyers, then there's going to be a lot more risk to the lenders with defaults and foreclosures. So I think when they were giving out these loans and when all that started catching up, people were, if they were losing their jobs, they couldn't make their payments, or they weren't just responsible buyers. So it all kind of snowballed into everything hit at the same time, where there was a lot of defaults on mortgages, and then obviously that led to foreclosures, which led to even more inventory that was hitting the market and less buyers that were going to be buying. So right now it's a lot harder to get a mortgage. If you are a responsible borrower with a good credit score and you do not have a tremendous amount of debt, you can get a mortgage. It's not like it's the hardest thing in the world to get a mortgage, but the restrictions and regulations on getting a mortgage right now are much different than they were in 2000 or the years leading up to 2008. I'm going to add a graph in this video. It is showing default risk in the mortgage market from 99 through 2020. And on this graph, you will see that leading up to the housing recession, product risk was much higher than it is right now. There's almost no product risk in the market right now. Prices, and point number 2, prices are not soaring out of control. And there's going to be a graph on here that we're going to include, but basically it's showing that in the years leading up to the recession, 2003, 2004, 2005, the annual home price appreciation was 8.7%, 12.5%, and 11.4%. 2017, 2018, 19, and 20, that is 6.4, 4.8%, 4.7%, and 9.2% appreciation nationwide in 2020. So as you can see, prices are not going crazy. Now it seems like they're going crazy, but comparing it to the years leading up to the housing recession, they're not. Another thing that I think we're going to talk about in a minute, with the prices getting higher across the nation, but in our area, with interest rates being lower, that is kind of actually leveling that out. Affordability is the same as it was a couple years ago if you're getting a mortgage on a property. So with prices not soaring out of control, that's another indicator that we're not heading towards a major housing recession. Point number 3 is we don't have a surplus of homes on the market. We have a shortage. If you watch any of my videos, and if you've been watching me for like the last 12 months, and other real estate agents in town, other real estate agents in the region, almost every time we're on camera, we talk about there is a shortage of houses. The market is insane. Now is the time to sell your house. There's nothing to sell. If you watch my market updates, I say that all the time, and it's very true. There is nothing for sale. We have a housing shortage. Well, in the years leading up to the recession, there was not a housing shortage. There was actually a surplus of listings. What we base the market on a lot of times is months of inventory of existing single-family homes. Months of inventory is so let's say there's 2 months of inventory right now. In Logan County, I think there's probably around a month maybe. If there's a month of inventory, if nothing else hits the market in a month there will be no homes for sale. That's what months of inventory means. In 2004, there was 4 months of inventory. 2005, there was 5 months of inventory. In 2006, there was 6.5 months of inventory. In 2007, jumped all the way up to 9.5 months of inventory. As you can see, when you have all that inventory and then you have a recession, obviously what's on the market cannot be sold. You don't have enough buyers. There's way too many houses. Right now, we are in the reverse. So anybody that has asked me in the last few months, is the market going to crash? Do you think we're heading that way? I say no, because there's nothing for sale. I don't think the market can crash when there's no inventory. I don't think prices can drop when there's no inventory. If anything, they're going to keep appreciating. So if you compare the months of inventory the last few years in leading up to 2021 with 2008, 2017 there was 4 months of inventory on the market. 18 there was 3.7, and this is nationwide numbers, but I think this is pretty accurate with Logan County as well. 2019 there was 3 months of inventory on the market. Last year the average months on market of inventory was 2.1 months nationwide. So the year before the housing recession of 2008, there was 9.5 months of inventory nationwide. Right now, there is around 2 months of inventory. So once again, that's another indicator that we're not heading towards a recession. We're not heading towards a housing crisis. If anything, appreciation should continue going up on properties. Point number 4 of why we're not heading to a housing recession. New construction is not making up the difference in the inventory that is needed. There's a graph, and most of these points have graphs that we're going to put on the video. As you can see on this graph, the last 13 years, new construction has been below average. Before the housing recession, there was 4 consecutive years of record-setting new construction, which led to the inventory that was on the market, and there was houses going up like crazy right before 2008, 2006, 2007. New construction was going bananas. There was developments going in everywhere, not necessarily in Logan County, but in the Bowling Green market there was a lot, and that was one of the snowball effects that when everything come to a screeching halt, obviously, there was an overabundance of listings. Right now, we don't have that. If you look around Logan County, there's no new developments, which I wish there was, but there's not. There's the new construction that is going on. Very little of it is hitting the market. Most of it is for private buyers. So we do not have an influx of new construction to not even help the market out. Like if we had the influx of new construction, that would not mean that, we're heading towards some kind of housing recession because we have all this new inventory. We could use it. I mean, we could use 20 new construction homes in Logan County right now, but we don't have it. We don't have it nationwide. So that's another indicator that we're not heading towards a major housing crisis. Point number 5, houses aren't becoming too expensive to buy. There has never been a better time to be a homeowner. There's never been a better time to buy a home. The national and local economy has been very good, although we've had a coronavirus last year, and that was hard on a lot of people. But nationwide, as far as money in people's pockets, it's pretty good right now. In 2006, the percent of the income that was needed to purchase a house was 25%. So 25% of your take-home pay was going towards your mortgage payment nationwide. Today, that number is 15%. So as you can see, houses are more affordable than they were then, although it seems like they're more expensive. Interest rates being in the 3s and in the 2s, just really people making more money and having more money to spend on homes is helping that. But you've got 15% nationwide of your take-home pay going towards your house payment. So that means people are not over leveraging themselves. They're not strapped to make their mortgage payments, across the board. I know some people it's hard right now, but for as you look across the board, on average, it is more affordable to own a home right now than it was right before the housing recession in 2008. Point number 6, and this is the last point I want to make, People have more equity in their homes now than they ever have before. And that's true for most people in the area that have bought a house at least 2 years ago. If you've owned a home for 20 years, then you're looking at a really, really, really good equity position. If you've owned your home for 10 years, same way. Somebody that bought, a lot of my clients that started buying when I first got in real estate, which was in 13, 14, and 15, they have a lot of equity built up in their homes just because the appreciation locally has went up so much in their houses. So if you bought a $120,000 home 6 years ago in Logan County, that would have probably been, you could have bought a 1,600 to 1,700 square foot home that was probably like 10 years old for about $120,000 probably 6 years ago. And that home right now would be worth probably around $170,000. So just in that matter of time, home buyers could see $50,000 worth of equity just in appreciation, not counting what they've already paid off. Let's see here. So right now nationwide, 50% of homeowners have at least 50% equity in their homes. So if your home's worth $250,000, that means you'd owe about $125,000 on your home, and you've got $125,000 worth of equity in your home. What's not happening right now that was happening right before the housing recession is people were tapping out their homes' equity and doing refinances for, I don't know if they were paying off bills or paying off credit cards or buying boats or just, wanting to do work to their house, but people were refinancing like crazy. And basically they were taking all their equity and spending that somewhere else. And then, when the housing market slowed down and if they had to sell their home, well, they owed just as much as their home was worth, so they couldn't sell it. If you look at the graph here, the 3 years leading up to the housing recession in 2008, there was a total of $824 billion pulled out of refinances in the national economy. The last 3 years, there's been $348 billion pulled out for refinances. And this is a time right now that a lot of people have refinanced because these are the lowest interest rates ever. They've been in the twos last year. So you would think that people are going to refinance, they'd be pulling out, it'd be just the same as it was before 2008, but it's not. For these reasons here, I do not think we're heading towards any type of housing recession. I don't think we're heading towards any type of market crash. Inventory is super low, which is going to help if anything was to happen with the economy. People have more equity than ever before in their homes, which is really nice because that gives you protection when you do need to go sell your home. So those are my thoughts on it, kind of paired with what Keeping Current Matters has, and I agree with pretty much everything they've got on here. Of course, if you have any questions about the local real estate market and what I'm seeing or what I think, what I'm seeing right now is everything looks really good. There's nothing to worry about. I think interest rates will rise this year, and we're probably going to be in the mid to upper threes by the end of the year, but still overall, historically, that's a great interest rate. So I think everything's going to be fine. I don't think there's anything to worry about if you're a seller on the fence about selling now or selling later. If you have any questions at all, if there's anything I can do to help you, if you need anything, just let me know. You can contact me anytime. My cell phone number is 270-772-0528. I would love to help you out any way I can. Thanks.